4 teams of 5 players made up of Call McVoy employees of varying skill levels. We have longtime gamers and first-time newbies who have been practicing for this moment. All are Call McVoy players, and the game again is Blizzard's Heroes of the Storm. A really complex and fun game to watch. I hope you guys get a lot out of it. It's going to be bracket style, quarterfinal if you will, with 2 teams facing off, the winner going on to face the other winner of the next match, and then the final will consist of the winners of both brackets. And they're going to get a really amazing prize. Wait till you see what we cooked up. Okay, I think it's time to start introducing these teams. You know them. You love them. All right, our first team. Team ACO. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. All right, we got Dane, Funky Goblin Smith, Roz, Wild Rage Purity, Raymond, Vintage Eyes Mode. He's our captain. Seth, Howdy Do Dat Hendricks, and Andrew, Hot Beef Taco Barone. All right, our next team, Team Infinite Revisions. Let's bring them in here. We got Joshua, Silent, J-Dub Woolery, Sam, Somi, 667 Somerville, Jake, Farwater Nearland, he's our captain, Tara, Neebs, Niebling, and Brian P. Fails. All right, this is our first match, you guys. And to take us through the play-by-play action, we have the silver-tongued Donnie Magic, Simon, and the incredibly elegant Gina, Lateral Moves, Lateral. Oh, sorry. I messed up. It's a live show, y'all. We got 2 more teams we want to introduce. This is going to be the second match. Let's introduce them now. Team Scope Creep. We're going to start with Paul, Lucchese Lammert, Becca, Bieber Fan, 722 Abilera, Jason Kazantzakis, Andre, he's our captain, Alex, Slim Shady, MN Gunderson, Matthew, Rockin' Farmer Olstead. And then the next and last team, Team New Business. Eleni, SSX Tricky, Paulson, Brianna, Bree Honda Fonda, Tom, Thunderous T Ferrara, our captain, Will, Kiru D1 Pierce, and Karina, Hot Dog Moy. And again, to take us through the first match action, let's hand it over to Donnie Magic Simon, and Gina, Lateral Moves, Lateral.
Oh boy,
Thanks,
John, thank you so much. What an excellent day for some esports, huh? Little Heroes of the Storm. It's a beautiful day for it here in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Let's give it up again for our teams and our host, John.
An absolute treat here. Gina, what are you looking forward to most here in these first battles against ACO and Infinite Revisions, excuse me.
I'm just excited to see the action. I'm new to esports. I've never played Heroes of the Storm. I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to see these guys bring down the hurt on one another. We've got infinite bragging rights and a custom 3D printed trophy on the line today. It's going to be epic.
It's wildly exciting. Let's get into the business here. As we start, we do have Funky Goblin playing our healer role. We have healers, we have assassins, we have supports, we have warriors. Those roles all are dictated by different strengths and weaknesses. Healers are going to be your general sustain for your team fight. Your warriors are going to be your tanks, your big hit points. They're going to soak a lot of that damage up. Assassins are going to be responsible for a lot of the damage that you're going to be doing in those team fights and things along those lines. So we're very excited to see how these team comps meld together, and what we have in store is going to be a very exciting story to behold.
We'll be getting underway here in just a moment. We are going to Cursed Hollow. Is that right?
That's
Cursed Hollow
right.
is the name of the map. That's where we're getting started here today.
That's right. We have Farwater playing the Varian. We have B-Fails on Chromie. Neebs will be on the Muradin, and Sami667 will be on Johanna. Malfurion is responsible under the Silent J-Dub moniker over there. That is the blue team. Vintage Eyes will be playing Tychus. We have Hot Beefy Taco on Artanis. Howdy Do Dat on Raynor. Lieutenant Morales, captained by Funky Goblin. And Wild Rage will be captaining the Jaina hero at this point here. So we're very excited. That is the red team. Boy, we're getting underway here. The 0 hour has come, and here we go. All 5 members of the red team and the blue team running down mid here. We're going to look at a giant tidal wave of heroes crashing down on each other. Hot Beefy Taco dives in, like an absolute maniac, and Farwater taking a good bit of damage. Neebs also taking some damage here. That is that tank. An ice shard comes out from Jaina. Somni also taking some damage here. We see Lieutenant Morales going to link up with Funky Goblin here, or Funky Goblin will be linking up with Wild Rage to make sure that squishy hero doesn't exactly melt under the immense pressure of the team fight here. B-Files, Neebs, and Silent J-Dub all stay in mid here. Vintage Eyes, Funky Goblin stay in mid. That's going to be a three for all here in the mid lane. The heroes have split off. They're going to try to start soaking experience from those minions from all 3 lanes here to keep those levels even as they get a little more strong.
We got a lot of action right out the gate here. What are these, not the players. The players have the bars above their heads so you can identify their name and which team they're on. Who are these little guys with no identifying marks on them?
Those are mindless lemmings that we like to refer to as minions. Endless waves of minions will be falling down these lanes, these 3 lanes. That you see on the map down here. You'll see the mini-map for those viewing in-house, the mini-map down there. Those 3 lanes are secured by forts, keeps, and towers. And the main objective...
Such as on the right here, this is a red fort?
That is these are red towers here, and the red fort is just beyond that, right there. That's that building just beyond that. So that's we're all trying to protect those forts and keeps, and the ultimate goal will be destroying the core of each team. Funky Goblin links up with Wild Rage just because we can keep that healing on there. We don't want to make sure we want to make sure that damage does stay out there on the battlefield here. She takes a Dragon's Breath from B-Files. That is going to put a good bit of damage on there. Funky Goblin is going to have to retreat at this point beyond the gate there to make sure that he doesn't go down. Sami is taking a good bit of damage. He is blinding that Tychus up in the top lane, and he's going to back off. We're going to make sure Neebs is very, very, very low. She's going to wait. She's going to back off and let her passive heal her up at this point to make sure that she can stay in lane and keep soaking that experience and keep these lanes even on at this point.
So in the red here has their gate right in the screen. When they jump behind there, they are safe. They cannot be attacked by the blue team.
Until it is destroyed, that gate is a protection at that point. It is something that you can kill. Sami taking a lot of damage from Tychus. He does make it beyond that gate that we just mentioned before, so he can go and heal up at that healing well and stay in lane at this point, but he is at a very low level of hit points, so he's going to have to be very careful coming back in the lane. Funky Goblin healing up Vintage Eyes at this point. There was a rotation from the top lane into the mid. A big root coming out from Malfurion there, and we're here having a tribute spawn in about 20 seconds.
We got our first tribute spawning down. What is a tribute?
So the tribute, there are tributes that'll spawn at various points on the map. Those tributes you have to collect up to 3. If you hit your 3rd tribute that you collect, that will cause a curse for the other team. That curse will nullify all the defenses of that team. That means creeps have no hit points. That means the towers will not be firing back on your enemies.
Got it.
It's very important that these map objectives are taken seriously and that these teams rotate on here.
So a curse can really be a game changer.
Absolutely, 100%. It is actually a chief game changer in here. We do see Hot Beefy Taco dive in, dealing a good bit of damage there. A root comes out from Malfurion, trying to lock down that Hot Beefy Taco. Farwater is taking a little bit of damage. He's a little bit out of position here, and it looks like Red might try to capitalize on that, but he does make his way back out again. Farwater does go down. That will give an advantage to the Red team in collecting this tribute here, as Funky Goblin does maintain that healing link on Hot Beefy Taco. Silent J-Dub taking a lot of damage there as well. That is their healer going down. So that will be the sustain of their team fight. They are now down 3-2-5, so they're going to have to be careful if they're going to try to re-engage and maintain this tribute.
Looks like the red team's going to take the first tribute here.
Red team takes the tribute despite the best efforts of the blue team here. Neeb's taking a lot of damage. She's going to retreat behind the gate there, so we're going to have to be careful and watch and see what happens here. You'll see that there is a bit of an experience lead. The numbers on the top of the screen there, 5 and 6, those are the team's levels. So what that means is as those go up, you're going to see teams gather a little more power. Level 10 means that they will get that heroic ability, their ultimate ability, you might say. And that is important for any team to achieve and be more powerful in those team fights. Dragon's Breath comes out. They're going to try to catch Wild Rage out of position, but they are not able to do so. Sami coming back in. This is a 4-on-3 in the mid lane here. A big blind comes out from Jaina. They aren't able to capitalize necessarily on that, but they're just trying to keep pressure on the mid lane here, as Varian also is going to rotate to the mid lane, as that tribute is going to spawn in about 10 seconds here. That's going to be the second tribute of those tributes.
So we saw after that first tribute, and they all kind of had the battlefield over it, and then they all span out. What is the strategy? What benefits do they have to span out over the map versus staying clustered together as a team?
So these team fights are ways that you can achieve momentum, and when you do spread out like that, what you're trying to do is you're trying to soak as much XP from these different lanes as you possibly can to make sure that you're not it's like putting all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to have all your heroes in one lane the whole time because, yes, that means that your team fight might be more powerful in that moment, but you're not gaining that experience level that you need to become more powerful in the game. Red is going to try to capitalize. Shasha Sandstorm comes out from the Chromie there, and it does nullify that channel to achieve that tribute, but they are going to go ahead, and this is a big old team fight. Everyone is gathering around. Chromie goes down. All the DPS goes down. Oh, we got Howdy Doodat going down. All right, we're at even strength right here. Varian is going to have to make his way up, but he is capitalized upon there. Hobby Vitaco is in deep trouble here. Blue has good positioning here. Yep, Silent J-Dub also going to go down, so now we have a 2-on-4. Varian jumping around here, doing his acrobatics, and Neebs is going to try to do what she can to stop that channel, but it is not going to be successful. That is the second tribute for the red team. They are in good position to achieve that curse on the next tribute. Boy, that was a wild ride, and we got a replay.
Got a replay coming up. So the red team really capitalized on that, took that second tribute kind of without much effort. What did they do to really just give it to the blue team there?
In games like this, positioning can be everything, and in this case, they had a nice position. They could keep focus on the tribute while also having good placement for the team fight. They could keep blue at bay while they were able to secure that tribute. So, like anything else, strategy is the name of the game in this sort of a case here. They do cap off that first boss, those boss camps, and also these mercenary camps. You'll see these yellow icons on the map here. That is indicating where different siege mercenaries and bruiser mercenaries, you're able to capture those and cap those off and send those as additional push down lanes along with these other minions. So we do have Vintage Eyes linked up with Funky Goblin here. They are in good position. They're about a level and a half ahead here, so they will have a good amount of time. That tribute does spawn here. Their red is going to be a little uncontested here. Varian comes in with a Lion's Fang, going to do a little damage there, but Happy Fitaco is going to be, oh, the big root, double root coming down. Happy Fitaco taking a lot of damage here. Wild Rage also taking a lot of damage. She's going to have to disengage. Happy Fitaco is going to go down. Artanis gets a big kill, or is killed rather. Varian with a pile of damage coming down on that Artanis. B-Files is going to have to be careful. Oh, big kills, big kills, big kills. Raynor goes down. This is going to be a 5-on-3 here, so Red is going to have to. Heroes Hearth, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Happy to have you here. So it looks like the blue team is going to get their first tribute.
Absolutely.
Prevent them from getting the first curse of the game.
It is wildly important that they made that push and they secured that tribute, making sure that Red did not gain that early advantage. Heroes Hearth, it's wonderful to have you. Appreciate you joining us today in our exhibition of Heroes of the Storm. We are here to exemplify what an amazing game this is and also learn a little bit more about esports. And yeah, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it very much.
Looks like we got a big battle here starting.
That's true. Sami taking a lot of damage out of Tychus here. We have, he's going to have to disengage if he's going to make it out alive here. And he's just going to, oh, nope, he goes down. Funky Goblin with the last right click there on that Lieutenant Morales. Not often a damage dealer, but every once in a while you just gotta do what you gotta do. Get dirty. All right, B-File is gonna throw a Dragon's Breath on top there. Big Root comes out from Malfurion, catching nobody at this point here. Raynor has a buddy along with him here. Farwater pushing by himself in the bot lane there. They're going to see if they can catch up a little bit. Levels are now all evened up at 10. That means that their heroic abilities are active on both teams here, so that is an important distinction in those next team fights to come here. A tribute is spawning in about 13 seconds, so everyone is going to have to be careful of that. Blue has to make sure if they're going to stay in this that they are contesting that tribute. Make sure the
you mentioned a bot lane. Can you explain what that is and why it's significant?
Sure. In Heroes of the Storm, there are 3 lanes on this map here. In the Cursed Hollow, there are 3 lanes: bot lane, mid lane, and top lane. Each of them are protected by forts, keeps, and towers on each of those points. And in those lanes, you'll see those minion waves running constantly down there. The idea being that the goal of the game is to destroy each other's core, but to get to that point, you have to make sure to break down those defenses of forts and keeps.
Got it.
Big kill on Farwater. That is going to put Blue in a bad position for this final tribute here, and it looks like Red will do its best to secure it. However, Sami coming around the back end, and he is going to be capitalized upon here. They're going to punish that positioning at this point. Red doing a great job of making sure that they have everything locked up for their first curse of the game. So they're going to get about a minute 5 on that curse left.
So what is the significance of getting this first curse, and how can it shift kind of the trajectory of the game?
Flow of this game is very important, and these first curses can dictate all of that. The momentum can go in favor of one team or another. Not to say that any team is out of it with these first curses, but it does provide a lot of momentum and
the curse essentially brings down that team's defenses for a minute or so.
Yes.
So allowing Team ACO here to really bring on the attack, try to take down as many structures as they can, and kill as many heroes as they can.
Absolutely, absolutely. having that momentum and being able to push kind of at will. If you're able to be aggressive, it's the ideal point in this game here. Funky Goblin is going to be caught out. They're going to punish that positioning there, and Lieutenant Morales, unfortunately, is down for the next 30 seconds here, allowing them to cap that vision and also do a good bit of damage and make Happy Fitaka retreat at this point. So how do you do that? Getting gone on by Farwater. That's going to be big trouble for Red if they lose 2 on their own curse. This is not going to be good for that momentum we were talking about earlier. There goes that pushback from Raynor, and Farwater is going to chase him down with that Varian. Alliance fan coming out to slow him down, and it looks like How Do You Do That is going to... Nope, there's that slow. Oh, and he pushes him back once again. A big escape from How Do You Do That. Clutch plays from both sides. Nearly an absolute battle getting out of there. Farwater also now caught out of position here. Vintage Eyes coming out. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. That's not what you want to see, but the curse is over, if we notice that, so now everyone is back to full strength, and in the meantime, it looks like the first keep was actually taken in that time, so Blue's going to have to be careful. Gina, that adds a siege creep, or I'm sorry, siege minion to that top lane there, and that will be providing that constant passive push from those minion lanes.
So this is a super juiced up minion that's going to wreak havoc.
It's like a little catapult that's hucking boulders all over the place.
You don't want that.
Nope. Not traditionally a good thing for any team, but you know. All right, Happy Fitako getting rooted by Malfurion here. Neeb's taking a lot of damage from Tychus. They're going to have to back off here. However, Chromie goes down. That's not good for their DPS situation here. Johanna coming up in about 8 seconds here. So they're looking like they're going to come back to even strength here. They're going to have to protect this. A big laser beam coming down from Artanis. And that beam chases you all over the map here. So it is a global ability. You're able to cast that from anywhere.
Is that a certain hero's ability, or is that the team?
That's Hot Beefy Taco's ultimate ability.
He's on a unicorn, so...
He's on a unicorn, so really everyone wins once Artanis is on a glowing gold unicorn.
Can't compete with that.
It is ideal. All right, so that next tribute is going to come up here in about 30 seconds here. We'll watch Blue and Red both jock for position on that next tribute and make sure that everyone is making progress.
Looks like everyone's kind of spanning out. Is there a strategy behind where their placement is on the map, or like what is the team goal here in these non-combat moments?
In these non-combat moments, you're trying to maximize that pressure on these different lanes here. So what we were seeing Blue kind of start to ping out that boss camp. We're seeing people cap vision on the map here, and they're all kind of jockeying around this position for the tribute here. But the idea is that you're trying to, in those dull moments, provide positive momentum for your team. Water Elemental coming out. Happy Fitako taking a lot of damage here. Farwater goes down. Varian is down. Happy Fitako also going down. So there's just a massacre everywhere. An absolute devastation in this team fight here. Chromie goes down. Joanna goes down. Varian already down. Neeb's taking a lot of damage here. Tychus is going to turn around and do a ton of damage to Neebs. And there she goes.
Things are looking dire for Team Infinite Revisions. They're going to need to step it up. So if you're wondering who's winning, how can you tell? It's not just about how many players are dying. If you look down in the map here, you can see that the red team still has most of their structures intact, while the blue team is down to only 3, including their core.
It's true, and part of the momentum that you're seeing here in this last team fight, you watched a lot of what that chaos there was. Red being enough ahead that all of their abilities are a little more, they're a little more powerful. They can have a little more control over that team fight. But another point to note here, there's a keep down in the top lane of blue, of Infinite Revisions here. So part of the problem is that core, the ultimate goal, is vulnerable now. As soon as a keep goes down, the invulnerability of your core is broken. So
and as soon as that core goes down, it's game over.
Game over.
Okay.
However, there is no game
game
over until the core goes down. There is still room for a comeback. That is true. So now we're all knotted up at 1 tribute each. The next one coming up in just a second here. So red is in very good position here, and blue is...
They've got that slight advantage with the levels, the experiences up at the top there,
It's
17 to 14.
It looks as though they're going to go ahead and just let red have that second tribute there while they focus on this boss camp here and make sure that they have some positive momentum going down in that bot lane.
What is a boss camp?
A boss mercenary is this large camp right here. That is a giant golem that is going to fight for you as long as you take all of its hit points if you kill the golem, and then you also cap it off. That will be it's one of your new soldiers here. A lot of damage coming down in the core here. They have a boss of their own at this point. Big damage coming down in this first core. About 30 seconds. Oh, yep, we're looking. They're gonna have to do what they can to fend them off, but that is going to be a game 1 victory for ACO.
Oh.
Good gravy.
Oh, yes, ACO. Red
Congratulations, ACO, an absolute devastation. Also, congratulations, Infinite Revisions, a wonderfully spirited contest. We appreciate it. Well done, all. So, what we saw there, Gina, we saw a lot of momentum switching the way of red early in favor of ACO. And because of that positive, they kept the pedal to the metal and they were able to secure that game rather quickly here. And now I believe we're going to be swapping over to John Wick Doyle, and he is with our special guest, Ian Anderson.
All right.
Actually, a lot of good games coming out over here. A lot of good sports, as it were.
Yeah, good sports, which is surprising for these Coleman Voyeurs to be such decent citizens.
They're usually such a surly bunch, as it were.
Totally
but
right.
A lot of good happening here. So, yeah, we saw Tychus taking over that game a good bit as well. So, anyway.
All right.
I was impressed by the Chromie play.
Absolutely. A lot of
Definitely.
sandstorms.
Dropping buckets of sand on people. It's hard out there.
Hey, well, thank you guys for that great first round in the game. I'm here with Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson is an esports entrepreneur, founder of a social media network called Heroes Heart, and also a founder and owner of some esports teams. Did I get that right, Ian?
You did. That was pretty good.
Also known as Workhorse in the
That's
in
what
the
they call
esports
me.
community.
Yeah, it's true.
So, what does it mean to be an esports team owner? Talk to us about that.
Well, first and foremost, it's very fun. It's very much
You're holding
like,
an octopus, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm also holding. Well, it's a rocktopus. Anyway, I've been decorated by the teams today, but it's great. It's just like you would imagine any other NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball organization. You develop young talent, help them come together, give them the tools and resources they need to succeed as a team, as a unit, to play the game well and compete at the highest level. And then beyond that, there's just so much more. All of the players that, I feel very fortunate. I get to work with awesome human beings that just so happen to be incredibly talented gamers. Yeah. And so it's kind of the dream job, honestly.
And how did you first know that esports was for you? When did you know that this was going to be your life calling?
It was a surprise. I got to go to BlizzCon on a lark about 4 years ago, and I happened to be able to see...
And what's BlizzCon?
BlizzCon is Blizzard Entertainment's massive annual con in Anaheim. 30, 40,000 people go. Yeah, yep. It's a big deal. Yeah. Most, if not all, of their world championships take place there for all of their IPs, one of which is for Heroes of the Storm. And I got the chance to go see the finals about 4 years ago and witnessed the amazing energy that was the event. I've been to tons of hockey games, rock concerts, football games, what have you, but nothing compared to people losing their minds. Like, losing their minds. There was after a huge team fight over a boss, a gentleman in front of me literally stood up, screamed like a Viking warrior, and took his shirt off and threw it. And I was like, this is it.
You knew it.
These are my people. I need to be here.
You knew it.
So, and ever since then, I was just trying to figure out how I can help and how I can contribute and how I can get involved.
So trying to figure out is what we're trying to do. So we're working on behalf of brands and advertisers and marketers who are looking at the space. Some of them know it and know how they want to get into it, and others are questioning the value of this community and this culture. Well, what would you say to brands who are looking at this from the outside in? What's the opportunity for brands to get into this space?
Well, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, there's no disputing that, but it's when getting into something like this, for any community, but this is a very special community, you need to get in with an education. You need to get in knowing and understanding how to talk with this community, how to be a part of it, because it's about building, it's about growing it in a organic, natural, responsible way, not just like throwing crazy spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks.
So you really got to come into it almost in an organic, authentic way, really understand the community before you can enter it in an elegant way and bring value. But it's about bringing that value, right? The community needs brands,
Yes.
needs advertisers.
The value needs to happen in order for the community to grow.
As
so it's
big
a
as
give
this
and a
community
take,
is today, it still needs that money. It's
Absolutely.
akin, would you say it's a little bit like looking at the NFL in its formative years and looking at it as an opportunity to kind of enter it in as a brand?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where esports is in 60, 70 years when you're thinking about where it is now in its infancy. I mean, it's not even in its infancy. It's grown so much, but without appropriate and calculated and smart partners, the growth may never come. So events like this, what you guys are doing, getting inside, figuring it out, this is how it really good moves happen.
That's awesome. So what do you think are the big opportunities for brands that you're seeing just sort of neglected? Like, where are some of the the tee-up opportunities for brands to get into this space and add the value that this culture wants?
We're all people.
Yeah.
And the reason why we do this and play games and why we're fans of esports at all is because we love the games. So if brands can find the fun, find the way to connect through the pure joy of why we even are a part of this, it's kind of sky's the limit.
And you're not talking just gaming brands, not the
non-endemic
computer and technology and peripherals. We're talking about anything that could really bring some level of value to this community.
Absolutely. Like, and it's not just the Taco Bells and the Doritos and the Mountain Dews, although I do love all of those things. It's a matter of healthy living too. I mean, most folks who are gamers and esports fan are 25 to 35 and have pretty solid jobs, and they take care of themselves.
So this is a very important demographic. It's one of the most coveted demographics for advertisers and brands.
If not the most coveted.
Right?
Yeah.
So to get in there early and bring value in an organic and authentic way, you really could cement yourself to this culture as it skyrockets in popularity around the globe.
Trust is very important. Entering in, and you kind of have one shot. Yeah. And if you do it in a way that feels gross and isn't true to what the brand is wanting to contribute, or also true to the community they want to be a part of, it could backfire.
I love what you said when we were talking earlier about brands really looking inside their corporations for those gamers, those people who understand this culture, and really lean on them to bring smart strategies to enter this.
And that's what's been so cool about this, being involved the last couple of weeks and being a part of what you guys have been building. It's just people have been coming out of the woodwork of just like, oh yeah?
It's almost like there's a secret handshake.
Yeah, like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like it's been really great.
So where do you see the future of this sport? What are you hoping comes in 2019?
Oh my gosh. Well, this sport specifically, I have lots of dreams for. Heroes of the Storm was my first true love when it came to esports, and I think this game has untapped and unlimited potential. That being said, things like the Overwatch League that feel and look very much like the NFL, that's where this is all going.
A little easier and accessible for outside audiences. Well, Ian, we're wrapping up. We're getting ready for our second match. How can people find you in Heroes Hearth and your gaming community?
You can just sign up for heroeshearth.com. I'm essentially Tom from MySpace, so I'm your first friend.
We joked about that. How many people get that reference?
Otherwise, on Twitter, I'm Workhorse HHE.
Well, we can't thank you enough for the support you've provided to us at Call McVoy and this event, and for your community at Heroes Hearth who are tuning in via Twitch right now. Thank you for tuning in. We've got a really exciting game teed up here very, very soon. We're going to toss it back to Gina and Don to take us through the next game.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Ian. We have an exciting contest coming up next. We have Scope Creep versus New Business. Two teams pitted against each other. Once again, we're in the Cursed Hollow, and we are looking forward to both of these teams putting their best foot forward, and hopefully one of them coming out on top in grand fashion, as it were.
Can only be one winner.
That's true. They don't allow ties in this game, as it turns out. So we're going to find out a very defined and finite finish at the end of the day here. On the way of the red team for Scope Creep, we have Paul Luxie Lammert playing the Muradin. We have Becca Bieberfan722 on the Rainer. We have Jason Kazansakis Andre playing Nazebo. Alex Slim Shady MN Gunderson on Tyrande. And Matthew Rockenfarmer Alstead playing the Thrall. We have SSX Tricky Eleni Paulson on Lenara. On New Business, the blue team, we have Brianna Bree Honda Fonda on Lily, the support. Tom Thunderous T Ferrara on Chromie. Will Q-Day1 Pierce on Johanna, and Karina Hot Dog Moy on Rainer.
It's going to be good. Can you talk a little bit? So we've got multiple different types of heroes in this game. We got warriors, we got supports, we got assassins. What does that mean, and why does the team have a variety of capabilities on their staff here?
Well, team comp is a wildly important part of Heroes of the Storm. You need to have each of those roles represented in a way that is going to be successful for your team. For instance, supports and healers, that is going to be your crowd control. A lot of the times it's going to be your healing. Very important sustain of your team fight. And then obviously, warriors are going to be a lot of hit points. They're going to be your tanks. And assassins are going to be your DPS, your damage per second, your damage in those team fights. And there's flexibility in between those roles with different heroes. But generally, those roles are pretty well defined for these different
So everyone
heroes.
has their role. They're working together. They're constantly communicating, making sure they're in the right place.
Yep.
They all have a strategy.
Yep.
It's not just as chaotic as it looks here.
Right.
There's a method to the madness.
You don't have to know why the sausage is made this way. Just know that it is this is the way that it is constructed. And it is important that you have all those roles represented. QD1 going on Luxie here. He's going to dive away that dwarf toss going over the gate there to make sure that he doesn't go down early in the game here. SSX Tricky taking a lot of damage from Rockin' Farmer, who is pushing that lane pretty effectively here. A big nuke coming out from Rockin' Farmer, and Lenara is going to have to back up and hit that healing well to stay in lane at this point. A lot of action mid. Luxie taking a bunch of damage up top here. Looks like Johanna is rotating top along to put some pressure on Tyrande and Nazebo up top there. Luxie just pushing those creeps out, making sure that lane is back in a normal fashion. Looks like Thunderous T might be rotating bottom here, but QD1 taking a lot of damage from Kazantzakis and Slim Shady MN here. He's going to have to go back and hit that healing while he's low on both health and mana. He's going to have to make sure that he has both of those things to make sure he stays in lane.
So everyone's really spread out right now. They're all over the map. They're trying to take down different forts, different keeps. What is going to happen shortly here when that first tribute spawns? Do they all rush to that tribute, or is there more of a strategy on what their team can do to capitalize on it?
Ideally, both teams are jockeying for position on that tribute. You never want to necessarily passively give that tribute under most circumstances. You want to make sure that you have a fight in that game. But we'll see where that's going to. We're going to see where it's going to spawn, and we'll see a lot of rotations from all these different lanes into towards that tribute there.
Looks like it's coming here in about 25
We
seconds.
got 25 seconds until that first tribute here.
So we see our first bloodbath.
That's right. An absolute massacre will occur in the bot lane as everyone moves their way towards that tribute. We're going to see a lot of red and a lot of blue. We're going to see both New Business and Scope Creep going to jock for position on here. We see Beeper Fan at about half health here, so we're going to see if we can get some heals on her before we start this team fight here. But as you can see, there's a lot of heroes and a lot of action that's going to happen. QD1 going to go ahead and be on the front line. He's unstoppable at this point, and a Dragon's Breath comes down on Rockin' Farmer and Luxie. Big team fight. QD1 taking a lot of damage, and he's going to go down. Johanna is gone for the next 15 seconds here. Hot Dog taking a lot of damage as well. Also going to have to disengage at this point. SSX Tricky showing up to the team fight now. Kazantzakis doing what he can. However, he goes down. Nazebo is dead. Thunderous T, everyone at about half health here. Raynor taking a lot of damage around that tribute there. That Raynor goes down. Rockin' Farmer at about 40% health. Luxie getting in there. SSX Tricky taking a lot of damage. Thunderous T, a lot of squishy heroes here. Luxie going to have to be very, very careful there. Dragon's Breath come down. Oh, and he's absolutely massacred by a Dragon's Breath here. Thunderous T getting some help from that Lily there. A little tea party going on.
Yeah,
all right, then they're just
like
going to chase him out of there.
Blue team's going to take the first tribute.
That's right. Blue team going to take it, and we're going to go to a replay.
Okay, so that was a bloodbath. It looks like, despite their best efforts, the red team did not come out ahead on that one.
You know, you want the tribute, and they did take a lot of damage, and they ended up swinging it in the way of blue, unfortunately, for the red team. But you know what? That's just one of the natures of the game, right? Those first couple of team fights, you're getting your bearings, you're making sure that the momentum is going in your favor.
And there's a strategy there. Like, you know, they decide amongst themselves, one person's going to, you know, go for the tribute while everybody else covers for him and kind of fends off the other team so he can get it without dying.
Yep, it's a game of chess out there, and it's an absolute, it takes years potentially to perfect any of these strategies at this point. So,
Here they go down.
we got a Lenara going down in the bot lane there, so that's going to mean that Thrall can kind of push at will. Rockin' Farmer going to go ahead and just smack some minions, do what he wants down there. A lot of action mid. They're going to put a little damage on those towers there, see if they can gain entry to that fort and that first tier of towers there. Dragon's Breath comes down. They can do a little damage and ping those. Oh, and Raynor taking a lot of tower damage. Oh, and Raynor goes down. Luxie with some right clicks and some tower damage, going to contribute to that kill on Raynor.
Here comes the second tribute. Blue team's making a run for it.
Yep, we got about 5 seconds until that tribute spawns. Bree Honda and Thunderous T both making moves that way. They're going to have to make sure that they have some help, though, because all of red is showing up to that party.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy, they're not fashionably late at all. And there's a big, and a big taunt coming out from Johanna there. QD1 taking a lot of damage. That is going to mean a dead Johanna. And while SSX Tricky is going to start the channel on that tribute, Luxie going to go ahead and interrupt that. Big cage of corpses there, going to keep Lenara in place, and Luxie jumps out just before death as Lenara goes down as well. So now that was a 2-for-none trade in the favor of red. So it's going to be a little tough for blue to contest this tribute at this point.
Even it up here.
Yep. Oh, but
Ooh.
Slim Shady takes a ton of
Spoke too
damage at
soon.
Dragon's Breath from so far downtown. Oh, the plays. Oh, they're going to do what they can. If they can't have the tribute, they're at least going to take some red heroes along with it. Beeper Fan going to go ahead and try to channel that tribute into their pocket. But Dragon's Breath comes out again. Oh, jeez. They're just lining them up. Oh, no. You hate to see that. Oh, Chromie.
Like sitting ducks there.
That's that ranged assassin goodness. You can fire that from so far away, and big nukes coming down from Chromie again. So much damage. Kazensaka's doing what he can to interrupt that channel, and it looks like blue has taken advantage of some out-of-position red players here. Oh, boy, and Thunderous T going to do what he can to take that tribute in favor of blue again. Oh, and Luxie going down. Oh, he jumps out. Oh, he jumps over the rocks. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's hard to say.
It looks like the blue team's going to take the tribute. Well, that was intense.
It swung wild directions. It's up, it's down, it's black, it's
white.
white.
We're going to see that one more time here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every
we see
time you think
Kazensaka's.
it's over.
You know, it was when you channel that, you have to stay still, which is absolute food for Chromie. Chromie can just feast on you all day if you have to stand still like that. Oh, boy, 2-for-none in favor of blue on those tributes there. Look at all that damage. You got already 50,000 damage between towers and heroes on Chromie already. That's an absolute massacre. So
things are still pretty even, though. If you look up top, it's 9-8 on the levels. We're, one away from hitting 10. And what is the significance when they hit 10?
10 will mean that they achieve their heroic abilities here. That means that they have their ultimates. They are much more powerful spells that you only get at level 10. So once you have
they
those,
can bring the herd a little bit more intense.
That's right. That's right. And because they're even up here, it's not going to. Both teams should be at relative even strength on this next tribute fight here. So we're going to see what happens here. Luxie's very, very low. He's going to have to let that passive healing on Muradin bring him back up to speed here. Bree Honda dumping cups of tea all over people over there, so that's good stuff.
So it's very important now for scope creep for the red team to prevent blue from getting their third tribute. They don't want that curse, because that can really. Things are pretty even right now. If blue team gets that first curse, they're gonna bring the hurt down.
That's absolutely true. You don't want to, if you can avoid it, you don't want to have that. And QD1 is interrupted by Luxie, and he's blinded, but he's going to go ahead and do what he can. He morphs into his ultimate form there. Big hit points, big damage, big tank on Luxie, and he's doing whatever he wants in there until until blue shows up. The rest of them, Bree Honda going to loop around the rocks there, along with Hot Dog. Thunderous T showing up to the battle. Again, they're all kind of standing still. Rocket Farmer taking a lot of damage from Chromie. Holy Jesus, he's going to walk away. Oh no, he turns around. SSX Tricky coming in with a kill on Raynor over there, and Chromie on Thrall. So this is going to go a little more in the favor of the blue team at this point here. Both heroes for red are down for 15 seconds, 10 more seconds here. They're going to try to channel that tribute if they can here.
Looks like that team got it.
They got it. Wow.
So both teams are at their hero abilities.
Yep. And blue was a little low. They had to disengage there just to make sure that they didn't give up a big team wipe or anything along those lines. So now red is going to go into this mercenary camp, this bruiser camp here. And what's going to happen here is they're going to kill these minions, and they'll cap the point. A little circle will appear around that minion camp. And once they cap it, those minions are going to fight for them and run down whichever lane they are nearest. And Luxie's going to finish that up and cap it in the name of red. Plant the flag in the minion camp. That's all for red. And there it looks like they're going to head mid. Looks like they're going to run down mid here. Beaver Fan taking a lot of damage. Oh no, Raynor goes down. Oh, they're going to be at a disadvantage for the next 20 seconds here. And that tribute is spawning, which means blue is going to have a nice little chance before Raynor is going to be in position to fight to gather that tribute. SSX Tricky dealing some damage to some creeps, keeping that lane push there. Rockin' Farmer healing up at the healing well. Slim Shady is blinded, and Johanna's going to turn around. Kazensaka's going to dump a few frogs on top of him. And Chromie going to deal some damage to that last minion there. And Luxie at full health, but he's going to have to hit that healing well and be careful that, Raynor and Thunderous T Chromie are not going to burst him down before.
What does that mean when you say that they're blinded, grounded, unstoppable? You see these little terms kind of replace their names. Is that the other team using their abilities on them, or what do those terms mean?
Potentially. Big Dragon's Breath coming down here. Oh, big team fight. Here's the tribute. I'll get back to that in just a moment here. Rockin' Firm taking a lot of damage from QD1. He pulls him back in, and Thrall goes down. Brihanda dumping cups of tea all over everyone. She's going to have to disengage if she's going to want to be able to heal for much longer here. Hot Dog taking a lot of damage. QD1 taking a lot of damage. Oh, the cup. Oh, and the healing. It's a tea party over here at the tribute. Oh, she's healing everybody up. They're trying to maintain QD1 bringing everybody in, but the party just wasn't quite good enough, and Blue is going to take a lot of death over there, so that tribute is going to go the way of Red, and they're going to knot it up at 2 here. Excuse me, could you repeat your question? I
don't remember what it was.
Well, you know.
I just noticed that both teams now have are on the verge of getting their 3rd tribute. This is really anyone's game at this point.
It's evened up at 2, and Luxie jumps away and actually is pulled back by Chromie, and absolute massacre over there. So the Chromie pulls back the Muradin with that ultimate ability and successfully nukes him down. With
Things escalated quickly.
They did escalate quickly. Thunderous T going to push that. They got Fort in the top lane here, in the mid lane. They're going to push that Fort. This is that first important building that we talked about earlier. That Fort is one of the lines of defense here.
And we're going to cut to a replay, that last tribute.
You'll see. All right, so Raynor taking a lot of damage. Beaver fan's going to have to back up behind that gate, hit that healing well, while QD1 is going to be punished for that dive there. So they're going to put some hurt on this Fort, but not without the cost of Johanna going down here. Hot Dog taking the last bit of damage on that Fort. Big AoE stat. There we go. Oh, status effects. That's what we were talking about. Aha!
Oh yeah. What are those called?
Status effects.
So that's when you're blinded, rooted, frozen, unstoppable.
And that can be either positive or negative. There's buffs and debuffs. So that can either mean that you're gaining more armor, you're unstoppable, you're stunned, you're rooted, that sort of a thing. So those are all status effects that affect the way that your hero can be controlled or manipulated. Hot Dog taking a lot of damage on that tribute there. This is going to be controlled by Slim Shady MN, but Brihanda coming in. Oh, no, not in time. Brihanda goes down. That Lily is going to be down for 30 seconds, and Red has a tribute, or a curse, rather.
Blue team has been cursed. First curse of the game. So what does this mean? They've got about a minute now where their defenses are down, and the red team's going to go on the attack.
Yes. So all of the minions have no health, and all of the towers are not going to actually fire any attacks onto the red team at this point. So they can basically
opportunity for red to really sway the momentum of the
game. Absolutely. We'll see the XP is currently pretty darn even here, but that could swing pretty heavily in the favor of red if they're smart. QD1 going to go ahead and pull everyone in, but he doesn't have a whole lot of help, and that's going to spell curtains for QD1 on the Johanna. Oh, boy. So Red going to go ahead and they punish that.
This is one of those boss camps we talked about.
That's right.
And that is a boss minion.
Yep.
And he's up for grabs. Either team can claim him for their defense.
All of these camps, all these mercenary camps are up for grabs for whomever wants to take them. It's all a matter of whether or not you should at that point. And that boss camp does get more powerful as the game goes on, so it does have more implications later on in the game. SSX Tricky to get in a big nuke, and there she goes. Oh no! So this curse for red is going to turn out to be a pretty powerful one.
Really Dragon's cleared the map out. All of Blue's forts are going down.
It is a lot of buildings, a lot of structures were destroyed in this moment. Luxie, a little Dragon's Breath coming out on Luxie. He's going to go ahead and walk away, but it looks like red has pretty darn good control of this game thus far. All right, yeah, Chromie's still just absolutely dumpstering damage on top of New Business on top of Scope Creep at this point, and it looks like Scope Creep is going to go ahead and focus that Bruiser camp, and they're going to cap that off and let that work for them, and that's going to go down mid. So one of the things that we are noticing here is now that Red has taken a great deal of control over this map, they can kind of do what they want more easily with these mercenary camps and these tributes and things. A big Dragon's Breath coming down on two heroes, Rockin' Farmer and Luxie taking a lot of damage there. However, Raynor does go down, so Blue is down one hero for this team fight. Kazantaka's also taking a lot of damage. Scope Creep in trouble. QD1 going down. Oh boy. So now it's a 2-for-1 problem.
And how long do these teams, it looks like when they die, they are down for a varying amount of times, 30 seconds, 10 seconds. What are the deciding factors in how long a team member is going to be down?
So as the game progresses and you gain more levels, what's happening is your respawn timer gets longer. We're going to go to a replay quick just to see that last team fight here. We're going to watch a lot of nukes come down on Johanna there, it looks like. And those quick kills are what allow you to be able to control that game. So we're going to have a 3-2-3 pause for just a moment here.
Looks like things are pretty tied up here.
Things are pretty tied up. No one, again, like we're not talking about anyone. No one is out of this game at this point. All it takes at some point is a curse, and if you take advantage of that curse in a formidable fashion, that can swing it right back into your favor. One curse can mean keeps going down, forts going down, buildings going down all over the place.
You talked a little bit about one team or another putting pressure on the map.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Pressure forces the hand, and you want to put the other team on roller skates in a sense. So
they're on the defense.
They're on the defense. They're on their back foot, and if you can maintain that pressure, it allows you to be able to kind of like you have this control over the map. All those mercenary camps are open for you. The boss camps are open. If you have them pushed back into their base, you have a greater opportunity at those tributes. So look at this. We got red. We got scope creep focusing down some mercenary camps over here. That's going to mean that they're going to have extra push in those different varying lanes at this point. Looks like blue has the same idea.
So
New
they're
business is going to
stay into their own corners right now, if you will.
Yep. So they're getting their bearings here. They're going to see what they can do to focus advantage on different lanes. That tribute is going to spawn here. Blue is in good position. It's in their neck of the woods here, so they're going to have a
Red
nice
team
shot.
hasn't caught the memo about the tribute. They're coming back.
Yep.
Can your abilities affect your own team?
Sure.
When you're throwing fisticuffs around, or can you affect anybody, or
Absolutely.
are they just your opponent?
Nope. A lot of what supports are doing is they are buffing their own teammates. It's
Okay.
not just about affecting the opposing team. A lot of it has to do with making sure that your teammates are healed up, that they have extra armor, that they have extra attack speed. Any of those things can come into play with supports. No friendly fire. You can't actually attack any of your teammates.
Okay.
But-
so if you're an assassin and you're, throwing fireballs, they're not going to affect your team.
Right. No.
Got it.
QD1 a little out of position here, and that's gonna be punished by the red team. They're gonna take him down pretty darn quick. Thunder's team taking a lot of damage as well. Kazansaka's, however, gonna go down relatively quickly here for 45 seconds. So they have a gargantuan that's gonna be throwing fists around, and it looks like Chromie also going down. So red has a very high potential to take this tribute and prevent blue from having their first curse here. Lunara is going to go ahead and jock for position in those bushes along with Bree Honda.
Red team takes their tribute, preventing the curse.
We're going to go to a replay quick. We're going to watch that last tribute battle here. So we're seeing Johanna, their main tank at this point. He goes down very quickly, unfortunately for the blue team. So that's a lot of their hit points. It's a lot of the damage soak that we're looking for. And then you'll also notice after that, everyone kind of tumbles down the cliff of that team fight. All right,
Back to the live map here.
we got Scope Creep focusing down a boss camp on their.
And that's one of those boss minions that you'd mentioned?
Yes.
So which team got him on there doing their dirty work?
Well, this is Scope Creep that are going to go. They're focusing their boss camp here. They're going to cap that off and make sure that he is fighting the good fight for Scope Creep. And New
Got
Business
it.
actually was also doing something similar down in the bottom lane here. They're focusing their own boss minion and making sure that, they're not giving up too much of an advantage, making sure that red can't just carte blanche run down top lane. They're going to have to actually respect that push of the boss in the bot lane. And also that tribute is spawning in the vicinity of the blue boss camp. So
If they collect this tribute, they're going to put their first curse on the red team.
if they can get it, this is going to be a big fight
Looks like
for red.
they're a little busy, maybe having a lunch break, and maybe they'll start making their way over there now.
It's tea time. You got a Lily, it's always tea time, right? So she's going to dump a cup of
Having a
tea on
tea
top
party.
of QD1, and they're going to run away from the tribute here. They might just give that one up to red in lieu of
an
making
interesting
sure that boss.
strategy.
Well, you have a boss pushing their top lane, so you want to make sure that you account for that and you don't lose a keep in the process. So they're going to rotate their way top and make sure that boss camp doesn't just take their keep.
So their
without
objective
worrying
there
about
is
it.
more about protecting the map.
Right. They want to make sure that their core doesn't become invulnerable or become vulnerable. It looks like that was a moot point at this juncture anyway, and that boss is just gonna like hell on wheels is just gonna run towards the core and start smacking it with a big branch of
One of the blue
roots.
team's keeps went down, making their core vulnerable.
Yes.
So if they don't protect it, this could be game over.
New Business needs to be very, very careful about what objectives they're taking, and their focus needs to be on that next curse. Because if they lose that, it is going to be a very, very high uphill battle for New Business at that point. One mercenary camp goes the way, a siege camp goes the way of Scope Creep, and that is going to run down bottom and passively push that.
It almost looks like these teams are trying to avoid each other. It's an interesting strategy.
You know, this is like a like a middle school dance in a way, right? Like where everyone's at the
Boys
punch
over
bowl,
here.
yeah, snacks over here, but you don't want to like touch them, that whole business. So here we go. Everyone is going to gather top, and this is a very, very important tribute to gather. Everyone is knotted up at 2. Whomever
One
gets
team
this,
will get
it
a
will
curse.
mean a curse. That's right. So they're going to look for
position.
position.
The blue team is very vulnerable here. They've got one of their 3 keeps down, making their core available for attack. And if
That's
that
right.
core goes down, game over.
And it looks like Scope Creep does push into the team fight over here. They're pretty confident about this. However, a Dragon's Breath comes down, and Rockin' Farmer is very low on that Thrall, and they're grouped up pretty darn good. And Johanna, here comes a Rainer ult, just dumping missiles on top of people. But Nazebo does go down, Lenara goes down, so we're at even strength here. Beavervan at very, very low health. However, it's a Tea party once again, and Thunder's Tea getting healed up by the Lily here. QD1 also getting healed up, so that's a 2-for-1 swap, and it looks like Blue will be able to secure that curse. Rockin' Farmer taking a good deal of damage there and is blinded by the Johanna. Yep, and there they go. They're slowed. Everything's bouncing all over the place. Thrall goes down. A 3-for-1. Lenara is dead. However, it looks like Blue has control. Oh, man, a 4-for-1.
And the blue team is not going down without a fight. They are really changing the momentum of the game here.
Absolutely, and now both teams are at level 20, so those heroic abilities are upgraded. And it looks like Red took the curse actually at that point.
So this, I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to even figure out what's going on here.
Well, they were all jockeying for position, and they were all isolating the tribute and pushing into that team fight. So like Blue had the advantage, so they could kind of do whatever they wanted. Oh, this is bad news. This is bad news for Blue.
That is the blue team's core that they are attacking right now.
That's right. And in the chase, Red actually took that tribute and achieved the curse while Blue was chasing down other heroes. So a sneaky play, a little bit of a sneaky play.
And protect their core.
That's right, and that's exactly what they're doing here. So now all 3 of those lanes have that siege minion that we were talking about earlier. That's that extra catapult that's going to be hucking rocks like they got no business hucking. All right, and a couple of frogs over here. They're going to see if they can interrupt that blue mercenary camp push here. QD1 taking a lot of damage from Luxie. They're going to go ahead and take it for themselves. An ult comes out from Rainer with nobody home. Kazan Saka's going to push in there. He takes a lot of damage and gets pulled in by QD1. Dragon's Breath comes down, and QD1 is stunned, but he takes a lot of armor. So he's going to just be able to walk away at this point unless he's not healed up here. So they're going to see if they can get some tea on top of that. Kazan Sakas does walk away unscathed, and they take that mercenary camp. And that's going to work in favor of Red here. Again, they're going to have to be careful to watch these lanes and make sure that those minions aren't just passively pushing into their core in the way of new business here.
Kills are pretty even here. Does anyone have control over what these minions are doing and where they're placed on the map?
Nope, there are finite locations for all of the mercenary camps, and all of those minions are artificially controlled by the game. Those are not things that you can just kind of click on and start walking around.
I want all my minions to go and give it to this keep over here.
Right. Yep, that is not a part of this. So, Scope Creep also going to focus down yet another Bruiser camp here, so that's just another piece of momentum working in the way of Scope Creep. They're going to cap that off nicely, and we're going to see some action here. The keep is under duress, so it looks like they're going to have to retreat, even though this curse, the tribute is coming up, and the curse would be very helpful for new business at this point. However, big nukes coming out, and they do. Tyrande going down, and Rockin' Farmer also taking a lot of damage here. QD1 going to pull him back in. Oh, and a big kill. That's a 3 for none. And it looks like Blue might actually be able to control themselves another curse, or their first curse rather. Slow coming out from Chromie, and they're going to chase down Luxie. However, she is very alone, so she's going to have to be very careful. Big nuke coming out on Luxie, and he's going to have to disengage at this point. And Blue and New Business will be able to secure themselves a curse and hopefully swing momentum in their favor. Oh boy, the callback and the Dragon's Breath, big plays by Thunderous Tea. Holy jeez.
Looks like the blue team's going to collect that tribute, bringing a curse to the red team.
That's right, they're going to have to be careful though, because that is the core that is taking a lot of damage here. Thankfully, that curse, like we talked about before, does prevent, oh boy, those catapults doing work. Oh no, no, no! Oh, those siege minions doing work, wow. Wow.
So that curse was crucial because the core was left unable to protect itself. The blue team was out getting tea.
That's right.
And the minions took it down.
What we saw that momentum. You keep the pedal to the metal, and Blue did try to fight their way back. into that game. However, they were not quite able to make it.
Good game. Good game.
Those curses were doing work, absolute work.
Thank you.
The other thing that we saw a lot of damage coming out from Chromie there, a lot of Dragon's Breath, but there's a lot of squishy heroes on that other team there.
Very
so
good.
we want to make sure that you want to make sure that you have that even team comp and things like that. Anyway, so we are going to throw to our next special guest, John. We have Jake here.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. Wow, that was a good match. Actually, Mexinato, listening in on Twitch, said the winner of that match was going to take the whole event today.
Right.
So we got a call there. So we might have
Oh.
just seen our winning team, which is pretty exciting. I'm going to scoot over here, get a little bit in here. Come on in here, Jake.
For sure.
I'm here with Jake Utitis.
Yes.
Now, Jake is a high school computer science teacher right here in St. Louis Park.
Yep.
He helped found the region's esports league and has helped consult other regions on standing up their own esports teams. And the team he coaches went on to win the national championship in Overwatch this year. Congratulations to you.
Thank you
Jake.
very much.
That's
yeah.
a pretty big deal.
It was very exciting.
so
Out of every high school team in the country, we were number one.
And how many teams are there?
At the time, at that season, there was about somewhere around 1,000.
1,000.
1,000 high schools. Overwatch teams, there's probably around 200-300.
So this is the feeder market for the future of esports. We're starting to see this community grow up in high school. Some of them are looking to achieve scholarships for university.
Absolutely. Since last year was the inaugural season of high school esports. Our program at St. Louis Park was the first program in Minnesota. Since then, there has been, I think, somewhere around 20 more programs open in Minnesota alone. East Coast and West Coast are dominating the market right now with the amount of programs that they have. But this is growing like at an exponential rate. Every single day, I'm getting more and more high schools calling me to ask about opening up a program for them. Or helping them answer some questions, etc.
Congratulations.
So
That's
really
amazing
exciting.
to be here at the genesis of the sport at this local high school level.
Oh, yeah.
So you've seen it happen. It's taken an effect on high school kids. How do you describe what this means for high school students? What does being in esports provide to them?
So the thing that I absolutely love about esports and the thing that just drives me to want to be more and more involved, especially at the high school level, is that it gives an opportunity for kids who in the high school are never celebrated at any of the pep assemblies. Nobody comes out to see these kids. But now they have a platform with esports to be some of the more celebrated kids at the school. The high school newspaper is running stories about them. So that's one thing that I think is really cool. Another thing that is it's a team sport for students of a different kind of cut or creed.
Yep.
I have, for example, a really cool story about a student who was shaking. He couldn't even give a presentation in front of people. He was so nervous. He had zero confidence, not many friends. It was really hard to see, but after esports program, he worked his butt off. He got the respect of his team, who he was one of the worst players on. Now he's one of the best. And the guy is presenting now, instead of just to his classmates, in front of business boards, awesome. Superintendents, and has a bunch of friends now. His family has been so supportive of this program, although initially against it. Now say that in the last year of esports, he has grown more individually than he has over the entirety of his basically middle school and high school.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So a self-esteem booster, built-in social network, connectivity, and now starting to see sort of the acclaim of their peers in high school. That's incredible. But you just did mention that initially parents weren't so keen on this. What have you seen in terms of the evolution of parents of students who are in these sports?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So his parents are a great example because they came into my first informational meeting because getting kids to play more video games is not something that you get a lot of pushback on from parents. But I was able to convince them to give it a shot and let them participate. And from there, they have completely 180'd.
Because they're seeing these very same benefits in their kids.
Absolutely.
They've gotta be seeing it.
They're loving it. Their kid has more confidence than he's ever had. He's more socially, has more friends than they've ever had, and that's actually a common theme throughout of all esports. Is at first parents are slightly against it, then they see the opportunities and how this is changing, and it's become definitely more accepted.
Well, that sounds a little bit like how brands might be viewing this culture and this community. A little bit more skeptical at first, but starting to embrace it for all of its rituals and opportunity. what counsel would you give to brands looking to get into this environment?
The counsel I would give is that we're a very exclusive group of people.
Yeah.
We love when a brand celebrates us instead of just trying to sell to us. So for example, one of the big things that I really enjoy is how Samsung has jumped on with Ninja. Instead of, he's a pro Fortnite player, and they put him in his commercials. They even put their own skin into the game, and really of promoting and getting involved with it instead of just saying, hey, slap our ad on top of it and hope that, you know, students will, or people will accept us. Really, if you want to get in esports and you're not a specific brand that is tied to esports, like a computing brand like Asus or MSI, the way to get in is to really celebrate us, show us that you're behind us, and we'll get behind you.
That was a through line in what we heard from Ian earlier. Come in with some investigation, explore the community, and really boost it up.
Yeah.
Are you seeing this yet at the high school level, or brands looking at these high school teams? I would imagine maybe small or local brands that really want to stitch themselves to local communities would look at high school esports as an opportunity to get in on the ground floor.
Absolutely. There's local brands, there's local agencies that are trying to just at least talk with my my program to try to see how they can become involved.
And how can they help? How can they help high school level?
Right now, funding is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Funding is a huge problem. High school esports does not have any funding at all. You're lucky if you get a grant from your school as a probationary grant. So really, right now, helping with funding, getting kids computers so that they can play, because one big thing is the gap between economics where students can play and they can't play. And
so
then,
we need the brands' help.
Yeah,
we need brands
absolutely.
to come in, bring some money, bring some attention, lift these teams up, and
yeah,
celebrate.
and legitimize it. And once it becomes legitimate, then the state might take it on like a state sport and then provide funding.
Well, Jake, it seems like you're going nowhere but up with your team. Congratulations
Thank you.
to helping to found this here in the Minnesota area and for consulting other regions across the country.
Yeah.
We expect big things from you this year. Do you think you're going to go back to back?
Absolutely. Our Overwatch team is undefeated. They'll be playing in the fall finals or the fall playoffs in next Saturday. And
watching right on Twitch, I assume?
Right on Twitch. It's on Varsity Network. It's a High School Esports League official channel. And yeah, the #1 team behind us, we just beat in the regular season. So I think we're looking for back-to-backs this year.
Awesome. Good luck to you, Jake. Thank you for all you've done to help pull this event off and for all the support you've provided to Coleman.
Hey, thank you guys. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. We're going to now throw it back to Don and Gina for this is the final? Is that what we're doing
This
here?
is the final. This is for the
blood
whole kit and
match.
caboodle, right?
Holy moly. And dude, they don't even really know what they're playing for in terms of riches and trophies. We got some exciting stuff in store.
It'll be a wealth of them, to be sure. All right, so we have in our finals here, we have Scope Creep, we have ACO. We want to thank Infinite Revisions and New Business for their wonderful, wonderful, competitive, spirited contest. We also want to thank all of the viewers here at Call McVoy. We want to thank Heroes Hearth for joining us as well and all the support and
big shout out to Heroes Hearth.
So thank you very much for that. Today, and our finals of our exhibition here, we have Luxie on, or we'll go through Scope Creep first. We have Luxie playing Muradin again. We have Bieberfan on Rainer. We have Kazan Sakis on Nazebo. Slim Shady MN on Tyrande. And Rockin' Farmer on Thrall. That is for the red team. And we also have Funky Goblin playing Ana on blue. And we have Wild Rage playing Jaina. We have Vintage Eyes on Zool. Howdy Do Dat on Phoenix. And Hot Beefy Taco on Artanis. So this is going to be a very, very fun game.
So these are the winners of the 2 previous games.
Yes.
So this is for all the marbles.
This is for all the marbles.
Bragging rights and a 3D printed trophy that will carry on the legacy until next year.
An absolute devastation will occur here, I'm sure. All right, so we have, again, we had a lot of heroes crash down in the mid lane here, trying to get that early advantage, see if they can jock for position, get maybe an early kill, and maybe a little extra pressure on all their lanes, and see if they could get an experience advantage here. Now we see all of them rotating back into a more normal laning setup here. Zool does rotate top, and we're going to see about that, whether or not we're looking for a quick kill on there. Luxie does take a lot of damage. He runs behind the gate here. He does a dwarf toss back behind the gate, and he's going to heal up. How do you do that? Throwing a laser out on Phoenix and Vintage Eyes playing that Zool, and that's a good wave clear. A lot of sights coming out
Looks
there.
like everyone's pretty spread out on the map right now. We've got players occupying every lane. How do they move from lane to lane, and what is the strategy in remaining spread out like that as we get started?
Well, rotations are when heroes move between the 3 lanes.
Okay.
It's very important to see. That's how you might gank a hero that way. You might get those early kills.
Gank a hero?
Gank a hero. Ganking is rotating and trying to kill a hero.
Okay.
And also why you're doing this in separate lanes is to make sure that you're soaking experience from the different minions in different lanes. Luxie taking a lot of damage here, and he makes it behind the gate. Oh boy, he walks away.
So the more minions you kill, the more experiences you get for your team?
The more minions that die around you, around your heroes, are granting you experience.
Okay.
Yep.
Until you get to the magic number 10, and then you bring down a rain of hurt.
A big tower of power, an absolute massacre can occur at level 10 here. Not to say that it can't happen earlier, it's just a little more fun with those heroic abilities. Rockin' Farmer and Happy Futaco, again, jockeying for position there. A lot of damage coming out. Twin Blades come out on Happy Futaco. He dives forward and dives back, dealing a little bit of damage to Rockin' Farmer. However, he's at about half health here, so he's going to have to make his way out of the lane and out of the way of danger there. How do you do that? Holding his own here in this top lane against Kazantzakis and Slim Shady MN, Tyrande, and Nazebo doing throwing frogs, a lot of zombies, a lot of corpses against this Phoenix robot over there. We got to sleep on Luxie. He's taking a little bit of damage here. He gets rooted from that bone prison, and big sights come out. A lot of damage coming out there. Those those critical strikes coming out, and he's just going to clear that wave as if it were nothing, as if it were paper mache of minions over there.
You said Bone Prison. Is that a feature of the map?
Bone Prison is one of Zul's abilities. It's you cast it, and after 2 seconds, a bone, these like a cage of bones will come up and stun a hero in place like that. Luxie taking a lot of damage here, and Wild Rage comes out and is going to rotate, and they're going to get a kill on Muradin there. It's 18 seconds without Muradin as that tribute is spawning. This is the first tribute of the map, and it's going to spawn in about a second here. And Blue is going to rotate on that and see if they can't secure their first tribute. How do you do that? Going to start that channel here. Rockin' Farmer going to go ahead and try to interrupt that. He throws a wolf out, and he's not able to make it. That is a first tribute going the way of Blue. And they're also, Blue does lose Artanis in the process. However, they're not entirely worried about that, having also gathered the tribute.
First tribute could be a deciding factor of this game.
It's one of those early pieces of momentum that you're always looking for in any of these games.
So we're seeing some heroes like galloping around on horses and dinosaurs and giant birds. What are these vessels of transportation that they've got here?
In Heroes of the Storm, if you hit the Z key, it will actually put you onto a mount. And those mounts will let you move about the map even faster than you already would. It's a way to rotate faster. You can get the jump on somebody, or if you're chasing somebody being on your mount, you're just going to have more move speed.
Do you get to pick your own mount, or does each hero have their designated mount?
You have a general, like your basic mount. Everyone has one, but you can purchase, or there's loot boxes you can get new mounts from, that sort of a thing. So yeah, if you want, you can have a little angry cloud that you ride around on, or anything like that. So it's a fun cosmetic.
I want a rainbow-colored unicorn. That would be my mount.
Be the change you'd like to see, Gina.
The world is my oyster.
That's right. That's right. All right. So we have Scope Creep moving in on that second tribute here. They're going to see if they can go ahead and take advantage of that. Meanwhile, Blue, they're going to start that channel, and Slim Shady MN is going to have to back away. A lot of damage coming out from Phoenix. Kazantzakis is moving back in. Luxie, big roots. That's that bone prison again. It's going to lock Luxie in place. Happy Futaco taking a little bit of damage here, but Kazantzakis is almost done for, and Luxie going to try to dwarven toss his way out of there. He's going to rotate back in here. They aren't able to finish off Kazantzakis, and they're going to go ahead and pinch Luxie here for that final blow. Rockin' Farmer also going to go down, as that was a little bit Blue taking advantage of and punishing some positioning errors on the way of the red teammate. And that's going to be the second tribute for Blue. So ACO gathers their second tribute here. We're going to go to a replay quick.
Every time one of these tributes spawn, we're seeing a bloodbath as each team is vying to get that tribute so they can spawn a curse on the other team.
That's right, and we saw, again, that positioning, the blue was all kind of collected around the tribute there, and red kind of crashed down from a couple different angles, and that allows ACO to focus single heroes and burst them down without having to focus a full team fight. Luxie going to go ahead and back away. He's going to have to heal up. He's going to let that passive ability that Muradin has heal him up. After a couple of seconds of taking no damage, Muradin, this dwarf down here, he is able to heal up passively. He doesn't need a healer to dump hit points on top of him, though.
Right.
So
Looks like the third tribute is spawning, and each team is getting close to that level 10 experience.
That's right. There is a 1 level advantage going the way of Scope Creep at this point, or I'm sorry, ACO at this point. And they're going to go ahead and try to protect this tribute and achieve the first curse here. However, Happy Fitako taking a lot of damage. Oh, and there's a big, there it is. There's that final blow. That's going to put them at a 4-on-5 advantage in the way of Scope Creep here. And they're going to see if they can take a tribute and make sure that blue does not have that first curse here. They don't want, those first curses are important. You don't want to have those defenses come down this early in the game if you don't have to.
Team giving the curse can really do a lot of damage in that minute.
That's right.
It looks like the red team has prevented the curse from coming down on them.
Yep.
We're going to take another look at that.
Yep, here's that replay. So Happy Fitako is punished for being by himself before that tribute there. I don't know if you didn't see. We got some fans in this.
Things are really heating up here at Call
That's
McCoy.
right, Zool. Coming out, he's going to deal a little bit of damage there. That's those critical strikes coming out from Zool. One of his major advantages is a lot of damage coming out and in a big area, so he's able to clear those minion waves very, very quickly, keeping the pressure on any lane that he would like.
Okay.
All right, so we see that first fort taking a lot of damage from blue here, and that curse has, or the tribute, I'm sorry, will be spawning here in about 10 seconds. So
And blue has reached level 10, so they've got an advantage on the red team at this point.
that's right, they have those heroic abilities that we spoke about earlier. And it looks like blue is going to maybe put the final blow on that fort in the mid lane and then rotate towards that tribute there. It looks like Zool is already there along with Phoenix. And yep, without any contest, they're going to take that third tribute and achieve their first curse. So ACO has a pretty heavy advantage at this point.
So now we got the red team's defenses are down. Their minions are vulnerable and their forts are not firing.
That's right. And
so we'll see if the blue team can capitalize on this.
as a result, yes, they're able to more effectively and aggressively push these lanes. Vintage Eyes rolling in on Rocking Farmer here. He does cast that Bone Prison, so Rocking Farmer's going to be locked down. He casts the Spirits behind him. Oh, boy, a lot of damage coming down. That big rotation coming down on Thrall. Unfortunately for the red team, that's probably going to mean both towers, gate, and a fort at this point. They still have a full 30 seconds going on that curse, so they might even be able to put pressure on that first tier of keep.
Blue team takes another structure.
Yep, and they are putting, in the top lane, they're putting pressure on the second tier gates, towers, and keep at this point while that curse is active.
Talk about capitalizing on an opportunity.
Absolutely. They have done a great job of making sure that this curse has been very, very valuable for them. And we're only 8 minutes in. We're coming up on 9 minutes into this game, and we're looking at a tower going down, a gate going down in those tier 2 towers. And it looks like red might be rotating bot here to see if they can punish that blue team for being a little out of position there. Nope. All right, so they're just going to force that disengage, and they're going to move back here, and we'll see if they take some mercenary camps or some other such positioning advantages here. So. And it looks like they might actually, looks like they're at least positioning around the boss here.
So they're trying to get this siege camp here so they can get the siege minions to be super minions on their team.
Yes, so that is, they just capped that camp of minions, and that is now going to fight for the red team. Is going to fight for Scope Creep running down bot lane here. They're going to huck some boulders on top of creeps. And here comes Artanis' beam coming down on Rockin' Farmer here. He's going to swing some twin blades. Oh, and he might, is he going to walk away? Nope. Oh, yep. He tries the dive, but he hits creeps instead of that Rockin' Farmer hero.
What was that laser beam we saw shooting down from the sky?
That is Artanis' ultimate ability. He calls a laser beam from a spaceship in the sky, and it follows whoever you cast it on around until the duration ends. So if you stand, if you stand in it, you're melting like buttered toast over there. Big damage coming down on the boss here. They're going to see if they can cap that off. And that will be a big advantage for the blue team. Yep, that's going to be an uncontested cap on the boss minion there. Red also hovering around a minion camp or a mercenary camp there to see if they can also apply some added pressure in the mid lane to make sure they aren't giving up too much map control at this point. Blue is rotating. It looks like
the red team is clustering. Is that part of their strategy, or does it benefit them to be more spread out across the map at this stage?
Potentially early on in the game, you want to take these camps fast. Okay. So you don't want to waste a lot of time, and by collecting like that, you're maximizing your damage potential on those camps, making sure that if you are caught at that camp that you're not shorthanded in a team fight or anything like that. So We see both those towers in that gate go down. There is a boss running on the bot lane here. The red team is going to have to account for that. And while they're doing that, it looks like blue is going to take that second boss even and send it down the top lane, which again, all of this is all map control. This is making sure that ACO has full advantage and they're able to take those tributes and those camps as they see fit at this
So
point.
that structure we just saw them attacking is one of the red team's 3 keeps, and once that goes down, their core is vulnerable.
That's right. So once, a keep goes down, the core becomes vulnerable, they can start dealing damage to the core, but until then,
Anyone's game.
even if Lieutenant Morales medevacs you into that core, there's nothing you can do. That core is invulnerable until those keeps go down. So now we got a lot of scope creep hovering around that tribute there, and they're going to go ahead and it looks like they're going to seal up that second tribute for them, which is very important. They want to make sure that they put pressure on there. Oh, nope, the channel is stopped. Wild Rage throws an ice beam out, and it looks like they stopped the channel, but not at the expense of Jaina going down as well in the process. So Wild Rage will be done for 30 seconds here. The Gargantuan comes out. They're going to try to keep him at bay. A big rift comes out from Rockin' Farmer. So they're going to go ahead and they control that team fight and they focus down that tribute. So that'll be the second tribute for red. They're looking at a potential curse on the next tribute here.
Scope creep taking the advantage back.
That's right. Scope creep needs to do that because they are down about 2.5 levels here. Luxie taking a lot of damage here. He does morph into his finer form here. He has reached his final form. His level must be 9,000 at this point. He takes a lot of damage, but that's what he does. That's what Muradin does. He takes a lot of damage there. He's going to mount up in that final form, and he's going to disengage, and they're going to run back and make sure that boss doesn't deal too much damage to their core here, as it is smacking it down just a good bit. Yep, and there's that big AoE root from the boss, but it does go down. They are able to protect their core from it.
So the red team here is trying their darndest to protect their core, keep them in the game.
Yep. And they have protection on the other 2 keeps here, so they just have to make sure that they are focusing the protection. They have to make sure that the objectives that they take are careful ones, and they're not giving away too much to ACO at this point. ACO does, with that map control, we saw them with an uncontested tribute there. That's exactly what you want to see. If you're ACO right now, you have this control over the map. You want to make sure that you keep that pressure on, and Scope Creep wasn't even able to leave their base and contest that
They've
tribute.
really got them in defense mode at this stage.
It's true, yeah. They're on their back foot, and that's exactly what you want. When you have an advantage like this, you want to keep that pedal or that foot on the gas, and you want to make sure that you're not giving anything back that you don't
See
have
if this
to.
next tribute can be a game changer for the red team. If they
love-
get that curse, they might be able to get back in the game here.
That's right. They'd love to have it. They'd love to have it, and they do have siege minions running down the bot lane here, so they're going to position themselves nicely for that next tribute here, where it looks like it may spawn in the bot lane. All 5 of Scope Creep are there. They're being rotated on by a couple of ACO heroes here. Happy Fitako diving in, dealing a little bit of damage, gaining that armor there. He is rifted, though, and he runs behind the gate, so he's going to be protected for the moment here. Vintage Eyes a little out of position, so Red might try to punish that a little bit here. Artanis' laser beam comes down, so that's going to draw the attention of Scope Creep back. Vintage Eyes taking a lot of damage here. Oh, he's going to have to get beyond the gate. Stasis coming down on Nazebo, so he's going to walk away relatively clean here. That water elemental dealing some damage here. He's going to stay in the fight, though. This is going to be a dangerous battle. Oh boy, down for 30 seconds. That's 3 for red. Tyrande, Muradin, and Nazebo all going down. And this is going to look like, Beaver fans got to disengage as well. Only Thrall remains at this point if Happy Fitako had his way. Oh, and just by pixels, he misses the dive. Oh, it's a stroke of luck for Bieber fan there. We're going to watch that team fight again.
This was a massacre. What just happened here?
Well, you see a lot of damage coming out early. Oh boy, yeah, it was just an absolute
Scope
massacre.
creeps just dropping like flies.
It's that level advantage. You have that extra power. You have that extra hit points. That extra damage. And when you take advantage of it like that, and you're able to get those early advantages in team fights, you can really focus fire on the heroes afterwards.
That allowed the blue team to secure that tribute, prevent the curse. For a little bit longer, anyway.
That's right.
See which way it goes here.
This is going to be a very deciding factor whether or not red can contest and maybe take this curse from ACO in the next tribute spawning in the next 25 seconds here. In the meantime, ACO is going to take a boss camp. That minion is going to be a very difficult one for red to deal with while this tribute is spawning. Again, this is one of those things, like what do? You focus either the boss minion or you make your way and let the boss minion do its good work in the bot lane while you go and gather the tribute. It's a can of worms for Scope Creep at this point. Absolutely. You make them make a choice, and if they make the wrong one, you take advantage of it by taking their buildings. So that tribute comes up. A laser beam comes out from Artanis. Looks like a big team fight is going to go down here. Luxie just teetering on the edge of the team fight there.
Here.
He is gone on by Hot Beefy Taco. He's going to dive in. He is in his final form, and a big stomp comes out. He's going to throw out his hammer and stun Wild Rage, and Wild Rage is going to walk away at this point. Kazansakas goes down on the Nazebo. A lot of damage coming out. Luxie also going to go down. He's trying to soak as much damage as he can, and as a result of soaking all that damage, he does become a dead Muradin at that point. Slim Shady's going to disengage here. He's going to mount up. It looks like they're not only cursed, but they have they cap the vision. This is not looking good for red, and they are getting pressure from those siege creeps.
Pressure on their core.
That's
it really looks like the blue team is coming out on top in all these battles. Is that because of their team dynamic?
It's an aggressive team. By nature of what they have here, they have a lot of damage. Zool is basically, he could push a lane by himself, and we see a lot of damage coming out there. 2 big kills on Tyrande and Raynor, so that is going to be the end of the core, and it looks like Scope Creep goes down to ACO. Big victory from ACO. Congratulations. Spirited contest from both teams. Well played all. Yeah, what we saw in that was we saw an aggressive team take the map over and then keep the gas
They just kept
to the
the
floor.
momentum up. They kept bringing down the pain.
There was nothing that Scope Creep could do against something that aggressive. So, unfortunately, there has to be a winner. We love all these teams. They all played such a valiant effort in this particular game here.
It was a good game.
Well played. Also,
Everyone
our
giving
champions.
high fives here. We're all friends.
ACO, they did a wonderful job. Everyone did a wonderful job. Congratulations, Scope Creep. Again, thank you, Heroes Hearth, for joining us. Ian, Jake, wonderful to have you.
Oh my gosh, what a game. You guys, hey, Don, I just want to let you and Gina know you both have a lot of fans on Twitch.
Oh, you don't say.
I think this might be your last day as a Call McVoy employee. You've been discovered.
I'm going to
This
keep
is
my
the
day
end.
job. I don't know about
no,
Don.
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
We'll just moonlight
a
as
lot of
casters.
great
This is
fans
fine.
on Twitch. Well, we want to say congratulations. This is an incredible inaugural win. Wait, well, don't go anywhere.
There's a trophy to
we got
give
a
out,
trophy.
people.
ACO.
Unless you don't want it, I'll take it home.
ACO, let's stand here quickly, and then we're going to take some quick interviews from the captain and maybe one of the newer players to esports. But first of all, hey, audience, look at this amazing inaugural. It's a little bit like, you know, this makes me think of somebody had to win the first Lord Stanley's Cup and put their name on it. This is akin to that moment in esports lore. I want to present this to you, the first ever HackyHour Esports 2018 Championship Trophy as winners of Hero of the Storm. We're going to give this to you, Raymond, our captain. Here, Ray. And Ray, would you please join me up on the couch? And can we bring somebody else who's maybe newer to esports? Come on over. Let's do this, Rob. Speech. All right, we're going to get you mic'd up. We're going to get you some headphones. Please take a seat there. All right. This was the part we rehearsed the least, so it's going to be a little ad hoc. Oh, well, first of all, congratulations to you
Thank
guys.
you. Thank
You've been
you.
practicing a lot, doing a lot in the here to be prepared for this moment. Come on over. Well, Ray, first of all, as captain, how did you drive this win? What happened? What was it about this moment, this team, this day that led to this?
Yeah, well,
momentous?
we had a game plan. Our game plan was don't die.
Okay, that's
and,
simple.
and we stuck to it. No, yeah, so we had some good team practices and just a lot of fun
So
learning.
now I've witnessed there have been 2 team captain modes, and I want you to answer this question, please, if you will, Roz. There have been the draconian team captains who were barking orders like drill sergeants, and then those who were kind of the affable boosters who were really trying to celebrate. Which was Ray?
The second.
Yeah,
for sure.
just a feel-good kind of coach.
He really
right?
was. He
so
really
now,
was.
now this was your first time playing Heroes of the Storm or any video game in this kind of setting. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
Talk about the experience of coming up to speed, learning this game, and what it's taught you both about the gameplay, but also the culture of esports in general.
Yeah, I think it was really eye-opening and just kind of seeing how big of a production
Yeah.
these kind of events are and how really it's pretty accessible. I mean, I had never played. I started a month ago, and I think that I held my own pretty well.
That's awesome. And what role were you? What
I
player?
was Jaina, an assassin.
That's awesome. So this was a critical player in the win.
Critical player. No, she totally killed it.
Yeah.
It
and
was amazing.
Speak
Yeah.
about
Literally.
speak about the rest of your team dynamic. What were some of the things that led you to this outcome?
Yeah, I mean, we just kept it positive. We knew that we had some people who'd never played before. I mean, literally 5 weeks ago, Rouse
5 weeks ago.
have never picked up this game or any game of this style. Yeah, so we just had team practices, kept it positive, and
That's awesome.
you know, just try to have a good time.
So we obviously, that fun is the binding thread that makes esports what it is. It's an incredible culture. Again, we've seen that we had more viewers, more unique viewers at 256 million viewers around the globe than the NFL enjoyed last year.
Yeah,
we talked with Jake about how there are 1,000 high school teams cropping up, and that's just in its first formative years. So obviously the opportunity is big for brands. What would you guys like to see brands do for this community? What would you like to see advertisers, brands bring in terms of lifting this community up?
Yeah, I mean, the single biggest thing is to be genuine in what you're trying to do. You know, the community is going to sense when somebody's there just for the money. So just being smart about, you know, how advertising agencies go about getting into it.
Right, so that's been a through line. Be authentic, be earnest in your support of the team. Almost be a fan yourself before you carpet bag and fly in.
Know what you're doing before you...
What about you? Do you see any unique opportunities to ingratiate yourself as a marketer or a brand trying to bring value to this community?
Yeah, I think that this community is so large and robust worldwide that it would be stupid not to. So really tapping in, and it's relatively new, so just being willing to take that risk, especially when you have those genuine players or genuine people alongside of you.
I like what you said. That's something that should not be overlooked. This is a global phenomenon. Allows a brand to be a global player almost instantly. It's like add water and stir. Getting into esports transcends all borders, all ages, all genders, all demographics. It's a really big opportunity. I think we're about to wrap this up. I think we're going to... we really want to thank everybody from the agency who made some time to be a part of this Hacky Hour today. We want to thank the community from Heroes Hearth and the members who tuned in, both clients. We have a lot of clients here. I got really excited about some of the client engagements we saw between Ian and some members from 3M, and we've got some Target clients here. Land O'Lakes, I understand, is watching. Thank all of you for tuning in today and for being a participant. We're really excited about this space. We're really excited to form specific strategies for our clients as to how they can enter it in an authentic, organic way and bring value and really lift this entire community of esports to the next level. We're ready to do it. So if you're looking for some opportunities, Call McFoy is ready to help you out. And thank you so much for tuning in. And this has been really a lot of fun.
It really has.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.